Gents, welcome to geographic, and this is why school never taught you about the Fossa. Fossa? Yeah, I've never heard of this one. This is my channel, Casual Geographic, obviously. Yeah, I don't know what this video is gonna be about, but judging from the thumbnail, I don't know. It's something about dog-like, wolf-like thing. Okay, it's surprised to me how I can still learn about certain animal that I've never heard about. Probably something from African server. I don't know. African servers is so insane. Like I'm pretty sure there are so many species that a lot of people will never hear about, right? I mean, it's not about like small animals in there, but even like decently sized animal. There are a lot of things that people don't know about. But when you go to safari and something, oh, I never heard of that. That's how it works. This is gonna be interesting. Let's do this one.
Investing, taxes, and a ferocious hidden anus. Three things school ain't teach you enough about. And unfortunately, this isn't a finance channel. Of course, we're talking about the final boss of Foccas, the maligned weasel, one could say measle of Madagascar, the Fossa. And with that, there's two types of people. Those that have never perceived this rough draft cat, and those that never would have if Jada's will would have rocked Chris and left him with Fresh Prince before they did 2 movies. And that might be because putting the Fossa on a lesson plan would mean explaining to a room full of children that concealed poop shoot is their actual name. Cryptoprocta ferox is their scientific tag, where ferox means fierce or ferocious, and Cryptoprocta refers to the Fossa's anus being hidden from the public. Fossas use scent glands to mark their territory, and these glands are found in the anal pouch, and this anal pouch is like a modesty garment for their brown balloon knot. That modesty got rewarded with the scientists immortalizing the big bad of Madagascar by its forbidden Fruit Loop. At least they're not alone. They could always start a support group with a platypus. The name almost becomes purposefully provocative when you realize there is one whole, no pun intended, genus named Fossa. This Fossa genus has one living member, and it's not the Fossa, cause screw them, that's why. It's actually the, to be fair, closely related Malagasy civet. But the fact is, a dope-ass scientific name like Fossa fossana went to the civet, but the actual Fossa got stuck with missing butt muzzle. That's not the last or worst way they get screwed by their own anatomy. I think you know what's coming, but we'll get to that. Maybe the name refers to how much of a pain in the prostate figuring out what this beta-tested big cat actually was. The Fossa was first described in 1833, where they were put in the viverrid family. Not a vivid ferret, although I wouldn't blame you, but a family that has the pee smells like buttered popcorn binturong along with civets and genets. In 1939, they were moved to a subfamily Infelidae because folks were really sold on it being a cat. In 1945, a change of heart put incognito back with viverids. Almost 50 years later in 93, they got a little warmer, with a DNA study putting the Fossa at the mongoose lunch table. But it only took 2 years for someone to try to argue them back with the cats and family Felidae. An animal that hides its seat lips in a family of felines that flash it like ID should have told them the Fossa was the imposter. And eventually something did, and they were put in the Eupluridae family in 2003. It took almost 200 years to ascertain what this unhinged roid weasel was. That still begs the question, what exactly is a Fossa? That question takes way too much time to answer, and it's probably why most schools don't even bother. So obviously I'm going to try to do it in a minute with no teaching degree. So, with Order Carnivora, there's basically 2 teams, Team Cat and Team Dog. Team Dog, Caniformia, is basically all the animals you think are dogs, and you got your pinnipeds, the raccoon family, your bears, and the weasel family, aka the animals that think they're bears. Team Cat, Feliform are, well, cats, hyenas, and the mongooses. The Fossa is on the Feliform side, and their family Eupluridae is full of animals you've never seen before. If you can name this, you're either lying or you're better than me. The Fossa family shares a common ancestor with the mongoose mafia Herpestidae.
Yeah, but this is basically like people like researchers coming to a point like this is how things work, right? There's gonna be things that like kind of blur the lines between 2 things, so how to name something, right? Like, should we, I don't know, it looks more like a cat, but it's also like a mongoose, or what we should do. There's probably so many animals like that, like gonna like flip-flop between 2 families depending on how you see it, and the more research it comes like, oh, look at that, it feels more like this.
And both of them are distant cousins with the hyena family. So even though I'm pretty sure I called it a weasel twice, they're actually on opposite sides. In fact, when you think about it, mongooses are the weasels of cats, and weasels are the mongooses of dogs. Eupluridae has other Madagascar predators you've never heard of because King Julian didn't scream their name loud enough. They include 6 types of vonceras, like this ring-tailed right here, and also mongoose members like the brown-tailed and the broad-striped. But like I said, the closest living relative of the Fossa is the Malagasy civet that snatched its chain and took his name, but best believe the Fossa gets the last word. So what is the Fossa? The Fossa is an overgrown steroid mongoose civet understudy built like a time-strung cougar with the same cursed anatomy of a hyena. Nothing about animal casserole is straightforward. Even their name had to be an argument. Anyone who had a childhood like mine would pronounce it the same way I've been doing. But if you follow the Attenborough rule, Sir David would have had you saying Fossa. What if I told you both are technically wrong? Cause their name comes from the original Malagasy word, and apparently the correct way to say it is foosh, 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 like foosh with a performance anxiety at the end. Experts feel free to correct me, but apparently that is the closest to the OG Malagasy pronunciation. It's just that the global game of telephone has
There's some French thing to it. Usually that's how it was. Trills of, like, yeah, could be something related to French, I don't know.
American saying Fossa, while England pronounces it as Fossa. So if your point of reference is the movie, it's the Fossa. If it's Sir Attenborough or the Wild Thornberrys, it's Fossa. And if you want to feel better than everyone, it's Foosh. Now, another reason the Foosh is blacklisted from the curriculum.
Two sides are basically arguing what it is, and you with a wine there is Fossa.
Is not just because depending on where you are, they can be thousands of miles and oceans away, but the entirety of your pluridae is endangered, and if they're not, they're endangered of being endangered. What does that mean to you? Well, it could mean a lot. You never know what cures nature could be hiding, or where. Scientists once studied the antibodies in llamas in hopes of curing the big cough of 2020, and many believe this moss carpet's fur may contain the key against malaria. But beyond that, losing life over there could hit your pockets here. Deforestation is the biggest reason for the flatline.
Yeah, I think you're barking up the wrong tree, man. People should go to like pharmaceutical companies, save these animals. It might make you billions in the future with the medicine, and Pfizer will basically take multiple jets directly there, land there, where they're just like protect them, give them multiple guards so nobody attack them type of shit. Oh, by the way, this will make new medicine for malaria. This will cure a lot of disease. Okay, not cure. This will treat a lot of disease, because if you say cure, they'll basically, if anything, they'll kill it. So this will treat a lot of disease, so they'll basically fly there.
Lining of Fossa and friends, and according to this article, the same arborcidal activities can cause extreme weather that can lead to the jacking up of food prices. So yeah, something happening a world away can come back to bite you in the wallet, and you might not even realize it until you're forced to finance a carton of eggs. That's honestly why I feel pretty good about working with Ground News, because being informed has never been more important. Ground News is an app developed by a former NASA engineer and designed to abolish bias. Ground News lets you learn more about the things you're interested in or affected by, and it paints the picture as wide as possible, instead of hiding it like a Fossa Fruit Loop. Ground News shows you exactly
Why is NASA engineer worried about news? Aeronautics, I don't know.
Exactly how far left or right the source of a story leans with an overall factuality check. It's basically a more productive version of doom scrolling at 2 a.m., which, let's be real, we already do. And whether it's in your backyard or an island thousands of miles away, you can actually be informed on things. Things like the price of potatoes going up 22% in the UK, and a West African heat wave leading to a 280% markup in cocoa prices. That's why I partnered with Ground News, and if you'd also like to be chronically online,
Getting basmati rice probably got costlier there because of 50% tariff or something. Brazil also got 50% tariff. I don't know. Planes will get costlier. I don't know.
in the best way possible, I got you with 40% off the same $5 a month Vantage plan I'm using if you use my link on screen, in the description. It don't matter, I'm flexible. Make sure you go to groundnews.com/casualgeo to subscribe. But anyway, Fossa are a lot. Actually, speaking on their name, we low-key don't even spell it right. The original Malagasy name is Fossa with one S. Apparently colonizers saw that and were having none of it. Also, we don't know exactly where the name comes from, but the theory is in languages like Tagalog, Pusha means cat. And
actually, colonizer thing isn't that far off. Every way you see it, colonizers, basically French and English people, no, this is how we do it. And fair enough. If you're literally the one who's conquering and like discovering things, and actually like you can just say, fuck it, this is what we're gonna call it. So yeah, I know people get pissed off with that one, but at the same time, they are the one who did it. So yeah, obviously you can have views, but like I think like yeah, okay, fair enough. If some British guy came along and like fucked up the pronunciation, added some letters, like yeah, he's the one. That's a Victorian British who did that, who discovered shit.
Iban, Fossa might also refer to the Malayan weasel, so I can only guess that something happened where they were like, well, this thing looks like a cat, but could also pass for a weasel, and we call both Pusha, so the logical name is Fossa. because being a Fossa means being defined by how close you are to being something else, which is actually their origin. Fossa are a cat's nature tried redrawing strictly from memory, and I'm not even kidding. You ever wonder how they got there in the first place? The aggressive absentness is believed to have spawned from a common ancestor about 20 million years ago, except Madagascar physically divorced from the
When you really think about it, like things usually emerge as a fluidic in a certain way. Like how if there's many species, there will be species that fringes of things, and like kind of like I said, it's not this or it's not this in the middle of something. That would happen because that is how things are evolving. Maybe certain traits are not strong enough to survive, so evolution might delete them, so there will be gaps. But when things are slowly emerging, there will be things that are in the fringes of things. Oh, it's not cat, or it's not dog, or what it is. Like, yeah, it's middle of those things.
Continent of India 80 million some years ago. How did the Fouche get loose on Madagascar? There's a couple theories, and the predominant one is that their ancestors rafted on floating vegetation, about 250 miles across the Mozambique Channel, a trip that would have lasted a little over a month. Really, the Fossa just proves how much nature cooked with cats. You basically had an oversized meerkat spawn on an island with no big cat apex predator. So they messed around and became one. The end game of evolving the perfect merc machine with milk is apparently cat.
What?
Fossas aren't that, but these Fossas apex is This was a reasonable crash out. They might look cute to us, but this is the reaper to the Madagascar population. Nature didn't stop at retractable claws. They have ankles that can almost turn backwards, meaning they can move through the trees like a homicidal squirrel. It's not enough that they'll run you down on land or tree, but they'll often tag team prey with one Foss chasing prey.
Oh, that shit is next level. I'm not gonna lie. Like, again, there are many. Science basically proves there are many things that your basic senses think of, but turns out to be wrong. At least at the like larger scale in physics and things. Like you can't use your senses to things, but you don't think about same way in animals. It's kind of true. Like you see like something like climbing like that, it's squirrel, like small thing. You don't think some big shit like this, like a big dog level thing, can do that. Imagine going to hike or something, and something just slowly creeps on you like that. What the fuck?
Through the trees, weaponizing predatory parkour to force them on the ground, where Fossa number 2 hawks them down. The entire jungle is food to a Fossa, even their closest cousin. There was an actual problem, where researchers were trying to study the Malagasy civet, but Fossas kept following trap lines and eating the captured animals. Fossa move on their own timing, literally. They're cathemeral, meaning they're active whenever they feel like. There's no combination of numbers on a clock when a Fossa can't strike, which is
What is it? A thermal. So that's how I am apparently. Sometimes I don't sleep. Sometimes I sleep once every 2 days. I know that's not healthy, but yeah.
Why their main personality trait is inflicting primal panic in lemurs. Not only is half their diet lemur meat, they'll straight up rip sleeping lemurs out of napping spots. They tell stories about the Fossa. This is their Freddy Cougar. That is one bad motherfucker. She-fucker. That is a she-fucker, and they're named after the sound they make in the face of a Fossa. Oh shit, fuck. Because Fossa will eviscerate them, with scientists finding Focas life deprived with their intestines ripped out. Fossa will flatline anything lemur, even the ones weighing nearly as much as they do. You think they give a Foca? No, they take them, straight off the senses. She-Foca, he-Foca, you-Foca, and in Fossa's eyes, anyone can get it. Millions of years being marooned on an island does things to you, and one of
Okay, did you wrote a script about this? Like think about like how rappers think about how to like spit bars, like they're actually writing this. Oh, this sounds good. Did you actually do that, or is it just natural? That shit was good.
the consequences is Fossas do something no other mammal does. The following is strictly for educational purposes. That being said, it might just be time to put the kids to bed. Fossas can't change from girls to guys, but boy do they do everything to convince you otherwise. Fossa go through transient masculinization, where they develop the same pseudo situation hyenas got. Except with them, it involves a young female Fossa flitterus growing large enough and spiky enough to make them anatomically identical to a male. They'll even release the same musky orange product males do. The difference is, where hyenas have to pass kids like a kidney stone, eventually the Fossa's baby-making business end goes back to normal. But for a time, you really can't tell male from female. And that might just be the point. There's some things about this freak-off ferret that makes being young, female, and Fossa the worst combination. Female Fossas are highly territorial, because they'll make love in the same tree year after year, call it the tree of life. And Fossa foreplay involves the female sitting high up in the tree, with starving males down below competing for her time. Now the thing with Fossas is, the female will spend nearly a week in the tree, where she'll be visited by several males. 4, 5, sometimes 6, 7. Some yellow lights don't get ran through that much, and there is no honor system. Males will often climb up the tree to shoot their shot, while the female's already physically occupied by another. So yeah, it's a Fossa freak-off free-for-all. Imagine the ones from the movie, but instead of feeding for food, they desperately fall over each other trying to make a baby mother. Which might explain the gender bending. Young females can get put on a shirt by an older vindictive female, and put in a hearse by a horde of hormonal males. This can really be a problem since apparently males can't tell when a female is ovulating, so they just keep trying. Which could kill an inexperienced female cause, well, they're not the only ones with some nonsense in the nethers.
Yeah, this is not gonna be like a 1,000 a day challenge type of thing like some idiot did. Guinness World Record. Yeah, I don't even know. Okay, I don't even want to talk about that. Yeah, how fucked up things are. By evolution, your biology has evolved in a way that only way to survive is mimic that you are a male. Yeah, but that's how wildlife is. Like, seeing any animals through human lens, like our capacity to think, wonder, and all that, it's not the same with animals. Even with dogs, people like, okay, dogs think this, think that. Okay, are you sure our dogs are just seeing patterns and reacting based on patterns? Are dog really understanding anything? I saw a clip of one guy joking with his dog, but he shot in video game. There's a sniper in a video game. He was shooting a video game cartoon dog, video game dog, right? And this dog actually saw it and ran away. Are you sure that dog realized that that's not real and that's video game? Even though you can try to explain the things, maybe it just realized like, yeah, shooting dog is common for you. You're actually shooting something through TV. Dog probably doesn't understand. So a lot of animal things we think that because of pattern recognition, they understand. But are they really understanding it? So we can't really judge animals based on how our thing, right? Just for survivals and how like this mating thing works. Yeah, it becomes too much like this, and evolution has to kick in, do shit like this to balance things out. That's just fucked up. There's another thing, like in the end of the day, we humans are, animals as well. Doesn't matter how much intelligence we get. This is why there's like, it's not equal when it comes to like that. Like men are too, let's just say, horny. Let's just say, right? And like we see like intelligence where like, oh, men are just evil. Men are just like that all the time. Yeah, but it's also like genetical, isn't it? Obviously, like people try to suppress it, but it's like there's an understanding level that nowadays people are forgetting. People knew that back then, but it's like new emergence now. Right? Like people are just hating in man in general. Or man is just like that. No, it's genetical. We wouldn't be 8 billion people on the planet if we weren't like that. Right? So yeah, this is like whenever you study animals like that, like it's very good way to see how things work, right? And how humans, in the end, we are also animals.
Fossas hold a world record, and that's having the largest penis relative to body size of any mammal. They somehow beat out the tapir, and I've seen one use his as a tripod and a back scratcher. But I guess a 30-inch animal dragging a nearly 8-inch nectar dispenser is notable. Educational purposes, I swear, because the sheer coital competition is why Fossas are hung like an adolescent donkey. They also have a baculum, which is a bone to allow the male to stay in the game as long as possible, even when the coach, other players, and even ref want him out. And not only that, they also have backward-facing spines on their procreation pickle, which makes retraction not impossible, but incredibly uncomfortable to watch. Can't even imagine how that feels. Or maybe I just don't want to. We probably wouldn't even know all this if they weren't so damn loud about it. It's also hard to miss that females can put in 14-hour shifts in one day with multiple males, or sometimes just one. Not only will a Fossa couple go at it for hours, they can spend an extra one stuck in the same physical tie dogs get caught.
As always, you go to some hotel, you think you won't heard of Fossa, but you hear of Fossa. And when you go to hotel, there's always a Fossa. Fossa, whatever.
Of course, this means nothing to the competition, with researchers witnessing females having to chase off males while still attached cat dog style to their last body. And sometimes multiple rivals climb the tree to fight the male while he's still baculum deep. It's straight player hating, and why Fossas do it at the very top of the trees, like a tryst on trapeze. Some males will even play defense by guarding the female hours after they mate, especially if that male got interrupted. The couple.
Look at that. Look at it. Wait, what you want? What you want? Why you here? And that thing like, oh, just wait for the moment, man. You'll never see me coming.
The couple can even injure themselves, and there's a non-zero chance the male falls and breaks his baculum. It's an entirely unpleasant process from start to finish, and if I have to know that, you do too, and if you unclick for that, I wouldn't blame you. But really makes you look at these guys different, and when your own conception is that demon-esque, unfortunately it's no surprise when they get treated like one. In Malagasy culture, there's something called fadi, My understanding is Fadi are spiritual beliefs Malagasy people live by, basically cultural taboos ingrained into their society. For example, eating with a hat on, considered Fadi, and the punishment is baldness. Eating while standing
Why? Is there some religious thing? Because if you wear hat, something that could. I don't know. What does hat have to do with? A hat is kind of like a recent thing. Well, like hat isn't some ancient thing or something, right? Like relatively. Why is that part of the culture? I guess became newer thing. I don't know. So like, does anybody know detail like why is the hat issue? Comment down.
is Fadi, and the penalty could be famine. There's hundreds of examples of Fadi, and one of them actually protects the Fush. It's said that Fusas will feed on the long expired bodies of ancestors buried in the forest, making it Fadi to eat Fusa meat. But Fusa have some other freaky folklore about them, like one that says they crawl out the
Fair enough. Religious thing is like real in India. Like cows are like really like uh obviously like a religious symbol. But then again, like I don't know, I heard of like people not giving a fuck. Let's just say there are a lot of things that are banned in India because of this, but then again, there are a lot of people who just don't care, right? So India is kind of growing at the like kind of becoming westernized in that way, where yes, there's a strong religion in a lot of pocket places. Religion is kind of like okay, it's a religion, but like if people care about it, they care about it. If they don't care about it, type of thing.
forest at night to steal babies straight out the cradle. Another legend tells of Fushis licking a sleeping person to put them in an unbreakable trance so they can disembowel them. Another says the Fusa's smell is enough to drop chickens dead on the spot, literally instant death through mustiness. So yeah, lemurs aren't the only things with thumbs that don't think much of the afterpick of an anti-drug PSA for predators. But of course, the Madagascar murder mongoose is almost zero threat to humans. To a lemur, that's a death threat, but to humans, they're just overly ambitious raccoons. Compare that to the absolute number done on the cryptic chocolate Cheerio by man, and it's no matchup. If they're not actively getting
Look at that face, man. Seriously, look at that face. Oh, we need to do something about these Fusas, man. They're killing lemurs, and they show this face, and people are like, man, fuck lemur. I don't care. Look at that. I'm not like, yeah, let them go. It's fine, man.
Number done on the cryptic chocolate Cheerio by man, and it's no matchup. If they're not actively getting screwed over by property development, Fusa get flatlined in retaliation for preying on poultry. Not to mention, many will defy Fadi, as in up to half of all Malagasy communities, Fusa flesh is regularly eaten. Honestly, Madagascar as a whole is in danger, with over 90% of her forests already gone. And keep in mind, many like the Fush are only found on the Big Red Island, so once they're gone from there, they're gone for good. Better appreciate it while it's still here, and who knows, maybe I'll take a trip down there. No promises though, I've already made too many. But as for later, for now, drink water, hug your mother, spread the Fusa word, if school won't, we will, touch grass, call your father, and I'ma see you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I remember the Grand Tour episode, one of the specials where they went to Madagascar, and there was somebody who was an actual slave with collar on. I don't know, man. In modern world, like, I don't know how to process that. So any places that have something like that, I would be like wary to like visit. But then again, there are many places who are like that, and I just don't want to know about those places, right? I don't know. That sometimes just thinking about it just creeps me out. There are certain information that you just don't want to know, right? Shit happens in India a lot too, like which makes me think, how is this the same country? The division in India, like how one place is compared to the other, sometimes is such an extreme in either end of the spectrum. It makes you think like, how is this the same place? So like, I don't know. There's many places I don't want to travel. That's why I don't like to travel that much. Let's just say, yeah. I don't like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to USA once, just like take on a road trip. But then one day I realized in USA states have different laws, and that could be really different compared to the other one. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to remember that? So the traveling is like something I'm like, okay, we'll see. I don't know. Right, well, that was why school never taught you about the Fossa. Fusa. By some guys who geographic. If you like my subscribe, and I'll see you next time.